All right, y'all, today we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business. Going to check out its local and city search. They're actually combined this time. See if it has BSS. And we're back here in the GBC universe where we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star here is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More on that pinned post, home video, pinned video, somewhere around here. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our FSIC graph here in white. Highest intent peeps on the left. These are peeps searching for boudoir photo shoot in their city today. I focus on them and make videos about actually getting them to come to us. Here, videos about BSS. Over on the right, there's the lowest intent peeps. We talk about getting these peeps to come to us on our sister brand or sister channel, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor, where we talk about BLCS. And currently over there, we only work with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand per month in boudoir Facebook ads. So BSS, boudoir search sameness. That's when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. Both are bad. 0, extra bad. If we got 0 slots page 1, that means we're page 2 or deeper. And we know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. So if we end up page 1, we're visible to approximately 80% of searchers, approximately 80% of buyers, approximately 80% of the market, so the bulk of the market. Bad, extra bad. Also, 1 slot page 1, that ain't good enough anymore. That's bad as well, because guess what? There's 9 other organic slots page 1. Probably going to be 9 other boudoir photographers there. So everyone's got 1 slot. We're looking the same as everyone else. Not standing out, not looking special. So a boudoir buyer, what they're going to do is they're just going to click down, open everyone's website, opens everyone's website up and, literally get a quote, fill out everyone's contact form, get a quote from everyone, price shop, price compare, negotiate, waste everyone's time, blah, blah, blah. And, only 10% of the time we're going to get that person to buy from us. So that other 90% of the time we're wasting it. And 0-1 slots on page 1 Google is actually not normal. It's not normal to have such a small few number of page 1 links on Google search. But it is accepted and it is, commonplace, but it's not normal. It's actually a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And I know this is normal because I went from 0 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google search, to 9 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google search in only 10 days utilizing this new methodology we developed. Now, these 2 deeper root causes here are 1, market saturation, 2, the false belief of page 1 equality. Market saturation, basically everyone knows about that. Over time, people get kind of new devices, new gear, new iPhone, new camera, and eventually people throw up their Google My Business profile, saying that they now shoot boudoir, or they throw up their, website saying they now are a boudoir photographer, or they're posting them on Facebook groups that they now offer boudoir photo shoots. So it's more boudoir photographers competing for the same number of buyers makes it harder for every single boudoir photographer. Now, the false belief of page 1 equality, this is new to most people. Very, very, it used to be very common to accept this. Very common to accept that, every boudoir photographer is, gets 0-1 slots page 1 on Google, and either you get it or you don't, and it's not much you can do about it. And even if you had 1 slot on page 1 on Google, well, maybe there's some market saturation, and that slot, that slot goes away, or then go down to page 2. Well, you got to kind of hope those people leave the market, and then hope Google puts you back on page 1. So it's kind of like a learned helplessness belief, but it's not true. We've learned it's not true because, again, I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google search in only 10 days. So we know the false belief page 1 equality. Now we know that it is exactly that, a false belief. We also know that a boudoir photographer with BSS is a disappearing boudoir photographer, DBP. And yeah, dude, if we're on page 2 or deeper, we're invisible to approximately 80% of the marketplace. If we're on page, and if we're on page 1, everyone else has got 1 slot on, all the other 9 competitors got 1 slot as well. So we're essentially invisible as well. So if we're on page 2 or deeper, we're dying fast. If we're on page 1 with 1 slot, we're dying slow. In both cases, we're disappearing boudoir photographer, which actually is kind of like the warning light, the red flag, the canary in the coal mine that tells us our boudoir photography business itself is actually on the path to disappearing. It's now starting down that path. Thankfully, we have discovered a solution though. We've discovered that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S-cubed methodology. And it works exactly as it says. We saturate social search with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords, making sure that we show up there. And what this acts like is basically like the snow at the top of the Andes Mountains, the eastern side, the backside of these Andes Mountains down in South America. The snow up there, what it does is all year it's melting into streams, melting, the streams, small streams, it's flowing to small rivers, but it all eventually comes to be collected in the Amazon River. That's where all the water actually comes from. And that page one of Google search is the Amazon River, but we got to first stuff, SQ methodology. We got to first saturate, do social search saturation, put the snow up there at the top of the mountain, so then all those videos, links can flow into page one of Google search. And this is the only solution I've seen for boudoir photographers that can actually enable them to grow during periods where the market's getting more and more saturated every day, and give them that opportunity in a relatively quick time frame. The only other solution I've seen allow people to do that is having a large, well-known brand, but that takes on average, 5 to 10 years. We ain't got 5 to 10 years anymore, dude. AI is here. We need results. We need a opportunity ASAP. And actually, interestingly enough, SQ methodology, by my estimates, can actually help those actually build a large, well-known brand approximately 8x faster than all these other kind of standard ways of doing it, just because we're doing more volume on more surfaces and showing up in the right places way more often over time. It's kind of like a double bonus of utilizing SQ methodology. So example now. All right, so we are right now going to, we're going to Boise, Idaho. And there are 1 million boudoir photographers in Boise, Idaho. We're one of them. Everyone's got a website saying they do boudoir photography. And as a result, everyone's website's trying to rank page one on Google as much as possible. Ultra competitive. We're like, man, we ain't got no large, well-known brand. Literally the only thing left that allows us to compete effectively is SQ methodology. So we decided to crank it to the max, like way more than average boudoir photographer would. And let's say we're taking up the first, 300 slots of social search across all the social platforms, and then that flows onto Google search. And let's say we're taking up the first 300 organic slots on Google. Well, it's 10 organic slots, per page on Google. So we're literally taking basically the first 30 pages of Google. So whenever a boudoir buyer searches for us anywhere digitally, we basically got like the first 300 slots to ourselves. So we are, basically we're basically the only one they can find, whether they're searching social media, they're searching Google, basically the only one they can find. So in this case, they'd have to, scroll to slot 301, or would that be on Google page 31 to find us? And so in this case, whose business is growing? Whose boudoir photography business is growing? Most likely only ours, because they're basically the only one that can be found by buyers. And whose boudoir photography businesses are dying, disappearing, going invisible? Well, most likely the other 999,999 boudoir photographers competing against us in Boise, Idaho. And so this is, kind of an ultra example of what SQ methodology, kind of the opportunity it could give to a boudoir photography business, but this is like an ultra extreme version, ultra extreme example version. Now, once you're with SQ methodology, we have page one visibility. So yeah, we're getting more links page one Google search. And the second initial benefit we're getting is every new link we get on page one Google search, good for us. And we're actually kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them invisible. This is awesome. So we can literally control how many of our competitors are on page one of Google search are not organic by our effort in acquiring these organic Google slots. And it's good because these slots have some momentum, not infinite momentum, but they do have some momentum. Unlike Google PPC ads or any ads, that momentum goes to zero the instant you stop paying for them. And let's see. Yeah, so a lot of boudoir photographers like this, they're like kick their competitors off. And page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us, BSV. This is where the GBC universe recommends hitting a minimum or having a minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page one Google search as the minimum. More is obviously better. But that's because basically every other boudoir photographer is going to have one slot each on page one. So if we got 3, we're dominating. Everyone else has got 1. We're actually standing out, actually looking unique. And the super rare train, someone has 2. Well, we still got 3, so we're dominating them as well. So we're basically dominating in all scenarios here. We also know the boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So this is our micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with BSS boudoir search sameness is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. Thankfully, we now have a solution, thank the universe, SQ'd methodology. We use that to achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer, and have boudoir search visibility. All right, so now my results utilize an SQ methodology. So I actually wanted to rank for this keyword, BLCS. Well, I want to dominate page one for this keyword, BLCS boudoir. So I went to work purely utilizing SQ methodology. And see my results. We're going down the organic slots. So organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. And so I went from 0 to 10 slots, Google page 1, to 9 out of 10 slots, Google page 1 search in only 10 days, purely utilizing SQ'd methodology. All right, now here to the main event. And check out this boudoir photography business. Looks like we're heading up to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Gonna see if this business has BSS with this search. All right, so see what we got here. Boom, we got one. Boom, we got two. All right, so we got 2 out of 10. So what does that mean? That's good. We do not have BSS, but we are not hitting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 of Google search for this local slash, combined local slash city search. All right, so see where we're at here, Fond du Lac. All right, so we got one. Boom. We got two. Boom. All right, so we got 2 out of 10, page 1 Google slots 4, our combined local slash city search. So that's good. It means we do not have BSS, boudoir search sameness. We don't have 0 or 1 slots, page 1 Google search, but we have not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 of Google search. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer and you've done your local search, your city search for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your city or in your area, and you've had BSS for one of them or both of them, or you did not reach the GBC recommended minimum of at least one of them, of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google, and you're seeing the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. So you're seeing, hey, we can actually take as many page 1 slots on Google as we want, and it doesn't require Google ads, which at max, so Google PPC will give 1 slot on page 1. And you stop paying for that, the momentum dies. But with this SQ methodology, there is some persistent momentum using the strategy. It's not infinite, but there's definitely way more momentum than running ads where the momentum dies instantly. So you're seeing SQ methodology is the way forward, the solution you've actually been looking for, but you didn't know existed. You're liking the initial benefits, more slots page 1 on Google, organic, some momentum there. You actually like even better kicking competing boudoir photographers off page 1 on Google, making them be in disappearing boudoir photographers. So maybe they simply leave the market and stop competing against you, and you stop getting price shopped against them. Lowering the number of peeps we're price shopped against. You understand how market saturation works. Yeah, new gear, new peeps coming in, kind of natural, trickle in. But you're also looking ahead and you're seeing, man, AI is going to be is already taking people's jobs. It's going to be taking more and more people's jobs, which is actually going to flood the market way more than people getting new gear. It's going to flood the market with peeps. Actually, people need to earn money. So they lose their job, but they still got to earn money. Way more boudoir photographers coming from AI taking peeps' jobs. And as a result, you're like, all right, you like those 2 first initial benefits, but now you need kind of a short-term or short in the future benefit. And as a result, you're looking for, you're realizing you need to kind of fortify all your slots on page 1. Actually, have so many overflowing links that Google wants to have on page 1, but you're already taking up so many slots on page 1, Google literally cannot place them there. Like so many backup links, kind of like fortifying the levees down in Nolens, Louisiana, because that city's below sea level. And literally prevent current boudoir photographers from ever ranking on page 1, and also hopefully preventing any future boudoir photographers that come from AI taking their jobs from ever ranking page 1 on Google. Keep them on page 2 or deeper, relegate them to perpetually disappearing boudoir photographer status, perpetually invisible to approximately 80% of buyers. So you're liking all those benefits, And you want to achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility, because you need to achieve these things on your path to becoming the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you're also thinking more ahead of AI stuff, and you're understanding that SQ methodology is actually creating kind of these invisible thematic keyword columns connected to your brand, kind of out of cyberspace, kind of invisible out there. Like columns of the Parthenon, or hub and spoke model of a bike tire, or your business, your brand, your website name. That's all kind of the hub where all the spokes meet. All these invisible thematic keyword columns are the spokes sticking out. And this actually, you understand that this is actually building AI mindshare in the back end. And when we build this up every single day, successfully executing SQ methodology, we're actually increasing the probability that we get, shown up right here, AI overview, super premium slot. We cannot even buy this with advertising. So it's organic from Google. This is probably better than any ad out there, honestly. It's kind of like it's like a super stamp of approval from Google. And you're seeing kind of every time actually SQ methodology, we're adding to the invisible thematic keyword column we're focusing on, or building a new one, kind of building up this back-end AI brain space momentum. And you're liking that for the AI overview. And also you understand that this will happen for the AI search apps. So ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Every day we successfully execute SQ methodology, we're increasing the probability these AI search queries surface us. And guess what? We are, Google is still approximately 90% of global search, but dude, AI search is growing every single day, literally every single day, as people ditch standard search more and more. And last time I did a boudoir search for boudoir photographers in a city, ChatGPT, dude, it brought up literally three. But I went, Google, Facebook searching, and I manually for how many boudoir photographers are actually in its city. Dude, it was like 60. So I'm like, dude, we gotta get at least one of these 3 slots by any means possible. And now we've learned, okay, SQ methodology is the way to achieve that. And you're also seeing my current plan is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city. So you're seeing, man, signing on, work with me on this. You are actually excluding all your other boudoir photographer competitors from using this strategy for as long as you keep using it with me. And so you like the sound of that, you can kick off your competitors, relegate them to, disappear boudoir photographer status on Google page 2 or deeper, essentially have a strong case to prevent any peeps that have lost their job due to AI from ever being seen on page 1 of Google. Like the aspect of building brand approximately 8x faster. So then, then kind of everyone else is done, because we're showing up on so many surfaces all at once and continuously doing it. And you actually want to be able to have super well-known brand and continue using SQ methodology as like the ultimate superpower. And on the flip side of the converse, you're seeing one of your boudoir photographer competitors signs on with me first, then we're actually getting all those benefits for them and not for you. And then page 1 on Google kicking you off. Page 2 or deeper, you're effectively becoming invisible to approximately 80% of buyers in your city that are page 1 searchers only. And you're losing those slots, getting forgotten about. And also we're building up this AI mindshare momentum on the back end for the AI overview and recommendation for AI searches. So in order for you to compete, you'd have to A, rederive SQ methodology, or actually derive it in the first place for yourself. B, you'd have to successfully execute it equivalent to us every single day. But if you did that, you'd simply maintain the gap that we've already built ahead of you and honestly make no forward progress. So you'd actually have to outwork us 2 to 3x every single day to regain momentum on us, pull that AI mindshare towards us, towards you, away from me and your competitor. Kind of be for us to be recommended for AI search or AI overview and AI search apps. And you probably would not feel 100% confident putting in that much effort, because you would never know if you've even derived SQ methodology correctly in the first place. So then you'd be like, why even put effort into it? And also that'd probably be like 80 hours per day. So you're seeing all that and you're like, screw that. I have decided to be the first mover in the city. I decided to hop on SQ methodology first out of all of my peeps. And so if that's you, shoot me a DM when my DM's open for new patient intake. The hospital is currently closed, but when we do open the hospital for new patient intake, shoot us a DM and we will see if you qualify for using our S cubed methodology.